everyone, so today I'm here with Wendy. It is a beautiful summer day and she is ready to go super blonde, which is my ultimate favorite thing to do. We can take a look at her color here. It is nice and dark underneath. All her dark is her natural, and we have some brassy stuff going through, some lighter pieces, a whole lot of everything. And Wendy's dream is to have nice, beautiful, long, luscious, super blonde hair, right?
Yay, yeah.
Yes. Okay, so tell us a little bit about your journey. So you've been going blonde for a while, but you haven't been able to get that super white blonde.
Yes.
How long have you been tackling this for?
Like 3 years.
3 years. Okay, so the reason why you always want to ask your client that is you know how many layers of bleach have gone onto her hair. So they have been trying to lighten these ends repeatedly. We can see that she does need a haircut. I've explained to her the whole thing about the split ends traveling, which there is a video, so I won't go through all that stuff right now. But basically it's going to continue to split until you cut it off. I've seen women or men, men don't really have it because they don't really do a ton to their hair. But like I've seen women where they have split ends up here and they're like, hey, my hair's really long, I want to get it healthy. And the only thing to really do about it is to cut it short. Like I can shave off the split end, but it's really never going to get it totally healthy. So we're going to give a little bit of a cut. First we're going to start with 2 inches. We are going to be doing a keratin treatment, so we're going to see what we can salvage to keep as much length as possible. We are going to get her, we're going to do a shadowed root. We're going to be predominantly blonde, but it's not going to be one of those stark white blondes that go right from the root. I'm going to, so we're going to leave a little bit of a shadowed root, and then we're just going to tone the rest. And then I'm going to go through and lighten her ends just at the very end. So here we have her sectioned out, all 4 sections. We're going to start with the back today. And the reason being is I want to be able to rinse her out ahead of time, even if I'm not done the front yet, because my #1 concern with this whole process today is keeping the integrity of her hair. Her hair is clearly been really processed, and I know that I'm going to have to go through and put lightener on it. So if need be, I'm going to wash the back before I even start the front. So here we can see that she has a whole lot of regrowth. I'm not sure what the pattern is that the last person did, but it's very important to pick out what we need and not get color on anything. Well, sorry, let me back up. I have 2 formulas here. I have one, Blonde Me with half 20 and half 30 vol, because it's gonna be sitting on for a little bit longer. With my experience, anyone that has like a level 2 natural, they need to have some 30 vol in there in order for it to get it light enough. The other thing about it too is that if it's even 15 minutes old in the bowl, you know that it's not gonna get it as light as you need. So I have that one formula with cool additive, and then I have the second formula. This is the Paint On Cream Lightener with just 7 vol. It has both of these formulas have the Continuum Keratin treatment in it. This one I chose not to put any cool additive in it because her ends are very porous already. I don't want it to overtone. I'm just gonna go through and lighten it to what I need it to be, and then tone it at the end. Here, even though you can see it looks really a little bit brassy, it gives it the illusion of being a little bit darker than it actually is. If you look at each individual hair strand, you can see that it's actually fairly light. So I don't need to get it a lot lighter in order for it to have that platinum look. So I thought that 7 vol would be fine. So we're gonna go through, and I'm not gonna put too much. I'm just gonna show you different things. We're gonna use a combination of different techniques to give her that shadowed baby root look, just because she has, I'm not sure what the existing pattern is in her hair. So this one has a lot of dark in it. What I'm gonna go through and do, and here's a little trick to keep it really diffused. Put the back combing up to where you want it to paint, where you want to paint your lightener onto, and paint the lightener right over top of that back combing. So for this first little section here, I want her to see a lot of nice light through her face. I'm going to bring it up fairly high. And then we're going to feather it on like that. And actually this strand is predominantly light, so I'm just going to feather this down and fold it all in just to make sure we get all those dark pieces. And we can see with this piece here, she has some brown going through it, and she has a little bit of blonde going through it. So all I'm going to do is just fold it in there so that we can make sure to get that piece a little bit lighter without actually covering it in lightener. You can see we have that kind of banding happening. So what I'm gonna do is just feather the blonde up to get rid of that. So I'm gonna do that. Again, and there's some random darker pieces down here. And then I'm going to take the blonde me with the paint on lightener and just do it on her blonde ends. Now because this one has gone up, this one's a little bit lower, this one I'm going to do a weave. I'm going to do a finer weave and just bring it all the way up to the top. And when I'm doing this weave, what I'm trying to do is pick out as much of the longer dark pieces as possible, just like down here. And here I left quite a bit of dark, so I'm going to bring this one up a little bit higher. And then with this piece, I'm going to go right to the root. Sorry, not right to the root. I'm gonna leave a little bit of a veil dark. For this one, I should be probably using a longer foil, but I'll just do this. So if you can see in here, she does have some random darker pieces that are longer, just the odd ones. So what I'm going to do is pick them out. There truly is no shortcuts to good hair. So if you really want to perfect this color, you have to take the time and really pick out the pieces that you need to get the end result that you want. Okay, so I'm going to follow that. So I'm going to continue pretty much the same pattern. The first one I left like just a little bit, maybe a couple inches of dark. The next one I left maybe 3 to 4 inches of dark. This one I did a mid section, maybe like 3 inches of dark, and then I did a baby light that went right to the root. I'm going to continue that pattern up the head unless I see there's something else that I need to pick out. When you're working on someone else's previous work, you have to really be conscious of what you're doing. You might need to change your foil pattern as you're going to really get the finished result that you want, depending on what the previous person did. So here with Wendy's hair, you can see that it's pretty much consistently the same amount of dark that goes throughout. So what I'm going to do, I'm switching techniques on her front panels, is I'm just going to do a weave, like so. Put that up, and then I'm going to create a more diffuse line on the bottom step. Just keep whatever the amount of blonde is here. And then on the top weave, I'm going to bring this right up to the top. And I'm going to do this throughout her whole front 2 sections because the patterning that they use has a very even amount of dark in it. And then that's going to be enough to create a shadow. So also the other thing that I've done is I've mixed fresh lightener almost every time I would get to another half section. I left the top half of her head on this section, not the top half, but this little top section right here, because I want to do this top panel with the freshest lightener as possible to make sure that anything that's around her face that she's going to see all the time is going to be as light as it possibly can be. So here we have her whole head foiled. Some of it's back-to-back foils, but if you look at it, it's nice and light now, so we're going to be rinsing right now. We're going to rinse her entire head. Here we have her all rinsed now. I have 2 toners. I have one that's a 10.12 from Davines, and then one is 10P from Matrix. It's the color Sync, yes, whichever the demi line is, whatever that one is. I forget. The reason why I'm using a 10.12 on your roots is a tiny bit warmer. I've mixed the bowls and let them oxidize here for a good 5 minutes, so to help some of that little bit of ammonia dissipate, making it into a true demi so we don't bump the roots. And I'm just going to go through and tone the yellower parts with the 10.12, and then I'm going to put 10P on her ends. I love 10P. It is a beautiful iridescent color. What I find with it though is that it does not neutralize very much yellow. You want the hair to be pretty white for it to have that iridescent color, so that's why I'm going to use a little bit of violet on her regrowth. I'm going to go through and tone her whole head, and then we'll be back when we are ready to blow dry. So here we have it, all done. It was a very long process. It has been about 5.5 hours. So if you have any questions, just make sure to leave a comment below. We will absolutely get back to you. We release new videos every Friday, so make sure to subscribe to our channel. See you next week.